Welcome back. You're watching Unrendered on IKTV. I'm Tony Regisford, and I'm chatting with Dr. Marlene Atz and Mr. Nigel Bradshaw. Dr. Atz, when we left, we were talking about the open campus. So let's just pick it up from there. Clearly, the open campus has far more significance to us here in St. Vincent than, say, the folks who are resident, where you have the other campuses, St. Augustine.
Actually, that's not quite true. That's not absolutely true, because one of the things about the open campus, because we have the open campus in St. Augustine, and it reaches the communities and those persons who are not able to get to the St. Augustine campus.
So you say the scenario is the same, basically.
So precisely, it serves the same purpose as the one to which the one you're suggesting in terms of reaching the community in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Because in Trinidad we have communities in Mayaro, we have a site in Mayaro, we have a site in San Fernando.
What about Tobago?
We have sites in Tobago. In Jamaica you have the main Mona campus, but you also have open campus sites in areas called Brownstown. I mean, very rural areas of people. It would be impossible for people to get to the Mona campus to read for a degree, even though there is a physical campus.
So let's just recap. What's the mandate of the open campus, right? What are you trying to achieve?
Well, the mandate of the open campus can be easily summed up in its logo: the online, on time, and on demand. Right? They really and truly to be able to ensure utilizing the latest methodology in terms of delivery of taught programs to persons that want them on their own time, right? Based on a demand for those programs, specifically for the target segment in the market that it was created for, which is really the mature student who is involved in pursuits outside of the normal outside of the normal 8 to 4, as you find in the Caribbean.
Yes.
And it has been able to do that quite successfully within the specific range that it has been able to make use of resources for.
Right. Now, the open campus as opposed to the, well, not closed campus, but I don't know what you call it. The physical campus, right. So you have got a selection of programs that you offer at the physical campuses. They're not necessarily mirrored in the open campus, so that must be a sort of a, if you want, a disadvantage. People who only have access to the open campus, you may not be able to access programs because they're simply not offered. They're only offered at the physical campus. Give me an idea of your program offering at the open campus, and how narrow or how wide do you think that is?
The program offering at the open campus is really specific to two major faculties: the Faculty of Humanities and Education, the Faculty of Social Sciences. And it was done so specifically because of the fact that the investment needed to go beyond those specific faculties would require significant plant development. Not necessarily be able to find the human resource for studies in science and applied science areas, but the significant plant arrangement for being able to develop programs and teach programs online.
Laboratories and
is going to be significant, needing to have specific labs and all these types of things. Right. However, we have been able to make use of directed modules in particular areas in the applied science areas. In some of them, like in through the continuing engineering education curriculum, they have made use of it. Also to the Faculty of Science and Agriculture, as well as Pure and Applied Sciences in Keyfield and Mona, have been able to make use of that for in a specific modular arrangement. That would allow persons also to be able to match the time being online as well to in a physical arrangement with labs and other types of plans.
So you're saying that the humanities area is actually easier to deliver online because you don't have a specific need, say, for a chemistry lab or a physics lab.
Humanities and social sciences.
Humanities and social sciences.
And specific areas in humanities and social sciences, like take for example criminology, right? Studies, theoretical studies in criminology would require a large amount of in-depth research and reading and so on.
Yes.
The facilitators can take advantage of what is available through their own development of reading material as well as what is available online, and make it available for students and maintain communication with students utilizing email, the specific types of software associated with program teaching and that type of stuff.
So all of this determines basically what you can physically manage to offer
at this time
at the open campus. But what are your plans really for expanding out on what you the course offerings? Any immediate plans?
And the course offering is going to be based specifically on the national demand for what is necessary, based on really, like how we said, needs analysis being done, and it must also correlate with what is available with the human resource and being able to have it taught. Because I think what is intended is to make use of the human resource available in the regional side country, like here in St. Vincent. You want to make use of Vincentians to be able to teach your courses, rather than depend on persons outside of
the country.
The national country to be able to do the facilitation.
Yeah.
Right?
So even as you mentioned that they're largely online programs, the students here still attend lectures where they go into a physical and not a virtual room, and there is a lecturer that delivers the material. So there's what sort of percentage mix is there, online and physical lectures, or would that vary depending on the program, the course that a student pursues?
It varies according to the number of students, the demand for specific programs. You're going to find that, like let's say for banking and finance, you might have a significant cohort on a regular basis, but it's based on the needs of that specific sector. Other sectors, let's say in management studies, which would incorporate a number of different things along finance, human resource, marketing, etc., would find a wider complement of persons, and therefore they, as across sectors, so you find that the demand there is more heavy, and therefore you might find that there's a wider ratio in terms of facilitators to students. But still, though, the system has been developed to ensure that the facilitator is able to keenly follow the progress of each student.
Right.
And to be able to ensure that the student is able to participate on their own time with respect to the way in which courses are delivered.
So for the benefit of the students who are looking at this program, who are desirous of probably enrolling in one of these open campus programs, just off the top of your head, what specifically, I'm asking you to almost list the courses that are available. What can you remember that are actually available, that students in Simmons and the Grenades can actually sign up for? And at what level is the accreditation going to be? Is it, diploma, associate degree, full degree, etc.?
That's a very good question. For us to be able to inform. These courses are run at three levels: certificate level, diploma level, and undergraduate level. We're moving towards being able to ensure each regional site can offer in-time master's programs, postgraduate programs, postgraduate diplomas, as well as full MSc or MA programs. I'll tell you honestly though, based on having to deal with the 160 plus programs that we offer through all 4 campuses, I cannot really remember all.
Well, fair enough.
Right? But
yes.
The good thing about that is I can make a pitch for those students to start orienting themselves towards doing research for themselves by going to the university's website, www.uwi.edu.
Right.
Checking the open campus page, and being able to go into prospective students, undergraduate, and look at the listing of courses as available for students here at St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Right. Dr. Hatz, let me just bring you in at this point. The whole idea of pitching courses to students has to have a link with something. I mean, we can't just educate people in an abstract way. How much does the University of the West Indies, in a dynamic sense, test what the development requirements of the region that you serve? If we say that you have 16 participating islands of what you serve, how much of a dynamic process is this, that you test, see what the development needs are, and then go back and design courses to fit the current day requirements.
Okay. As I alluded to earlier, what we, certainly in the Department of Economics, let me start there, one of the things that we've been doing, I think for the last 10 years or so, is to actively engage stakeholders to find out what the needs. I mentioned the Demand for Economists survey that we did some time ago, and that survey was also done with our colleagues at the Mona campus, and that gave us a sense, both at the Mona campus and at the St. Augustine campus. It gave us a sense of what people were thinking out there, what were they saying about our graduates in terms of what were their strengths, what were their weaknesses, and the areas in which we should seek to improve. But what those surveys also provided us with was a checklist of issues that people felt were important, that they felt were not currently being covered in our course offerings. And I know that as part of our research remit as academic staff at all of the campuses, we also required to engage in research that is our own research, but research that is relevant to the region. So I think we are fortunate in that we have the opportunity to scan the regional environment, scan the global environment, and to identify those areas that we think are either promising areas for research or certainly things that are affecting our economies now that we can make a significant contribution in doing some research on. So, for example, at the St. Augustine campus in the Faculty of Social Sciences, we have a number of research units.
Right. And
those research units are born out of an internalization, so to speak, of some of the challenges that we face in the region. So we have the Center for Health Economics Research, which started in 1995 in the Department of Economics, focusing on research related to health issues and health challenges. So the core, the impetus, as it were, was research looking at HIV and AIDS, but they have now they're now looking at other kinds of illnesses, chronic diseases, diabetes, those sorts of things, but focusing on research that is relevant to the region. And we can't deny that health research is something that we need, that we need a lot of help on. And looking at the economics of health in the region, we have a labor and poverty studies unit. Again, we can't deny that is a fairly new unit, but again, we can't deny that is one of the issues that is cross-cutting across the region when we're grappling with things like high levels of unemployment, high levels of poverty in the region. And looking at the demographics and the characteristics of poverty and unemployment, we have a constitutional studies unit and parliamentary studies unit coming out of the Department of Behavioral Sciences and the Faculty of Social Sciences. And again, we know that across the region, issues of constitutional reform have been surfacing, as it was, issues that are in some senses challenges for us in the region. Unfortunately, they only surface around election time, but I think in many of the countries...
There are a lot of elections go on in the region.
Precisely. So I mean, and then of course the unit to which I'm affiliated, the Sustainable Economic Development Unit that was formed in 1996 with the former coordinator, the late Professor Dennis Panton, where we effectively took the opportunity to formalize the research that Dennis and I were doing at the time, and to capture it in the form of a unit. And the university provides that space for us to formalize our research in the form of these units. So you have, as it were, a niche, and through the different units, we then encourage students to build their research around that so that we can make contributions. And again, as you know, the UWI, one of the things that we say about ourselves is that we're part of a great West Indian tradition. So we have students coming from any one of the Caribbean countries or even from outside of the region wanting to get greater insight into what is happening in the region and aligning themselves to research units or reading some of the courses that we offer.
Right. I want, just before we go to the break, just to tell you what I would like to pick up on when I come back. Who are you competing with? I mean, because you kind of alluded to something there. Obviously, students have other options.
Precisely, yeah.
And is the University of the West Indies actively competing with the other universities to draw these students in? We'll look at that when we come back.
Sure.
Okay.
This is Unrendered. More with my guests when we come back.